Executive Anthony Senate. Robert. And Colonel Denise. And as I introduce you to stand in the audience here, let's start with the Upper Mohawk Valley Auditory, Carlin Course, and present and past members of the auditorium. To stand, and give you a nice, huge round of applause. By the way, I just like to make one note. This might be the first time that I'm actually dressed better than 20%. I think that's worth noting. Please, the Oneida County Board of Legislators. Jerry Fiorini, Chairman, George Joseph, Majority Leader, and Tim Julian, Minority Leader, and the rest of the Board of Legislators for Oneida County, please stand. Instrumental in making this whole thing happen, as really everyone is who is here this evening. Some other elected officials that we'd like to introduce that are here tonight. And please stand if you would, and give these people a nice warm welcome. Sheriff Rob Mayfield. Your county clerk-elect, Mary Whittaker. Comptroller Joe Trapano. We came all the way from Herkimer County. Chairman Jim Bono. And we all know that's just on 5S. That's a trick. Nice to make it on. Also, some other representatives, Senator Joe Rippo is out there. Assemblyman Ryan Miller. Senator Larry Embo. Mayor Rob Palmieri. And Utica Common Council, starting with President of the Utica Common Council, Mike Delaney, and with the rest of the Common Council today as well. Dr. Laura Casamento from Utica University. Charlie Stromstad, President and CEO of MDHS. Rocco Arthur, President and CEO of Adirondack Bank. And Alicia Ditch, President and CEO of the Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida County. If I forgot anybody, it's not their fault, it's mine. So if we did, I apologize. Let's start with how this all began. First of all, just take a moment, just for a second, as I did the first time I walked in, and I'm sure this might not be your first time in, but take the moment to look around. Just look around for a second. And look at what has been created. Is it not unbelievable? It all started with a vision, the U District, envisioned and announced by County Executive Senate a long time ago, it seems. The U District includes renovating the now Adirondack Bank Center to what we see today, which is an amazing transformation if you think back to what it looked like before. The auditorium received grants and funding from the state of New York to renovate the prepare for the new arrival of the Utica Comets in 2013. The Adirondack Bank Center needed to be up to AHL standards. It needed video screens, locker rooms, and other amenities the building did not have at the time. All told, over multiple years, $20 million was put into the building from state grants and county funding. With the Comets' arrival, there was another challenge. For one, it was parking. That's always, if you come to the games, you know it's an issue. Once again, county executive and the audit authority worked together. The county committed $500,000 to build that parking lot. And when the U District was announced that the renovations were being completed at the newly coined Adirondack Bank Center, this center became the next step. Nexus was created in a partnership between the County of Oneida and the Audit Authority. It was a vision that came to fruition. And what is just most amazing to me is, as it opened before the grand opening tonight, we're already hearing from restaurants in the area saying, business is up. Hotels talking about being sold out. It's amazing and had an instant impact. So Nexus opened, the community raves about the building, the county and the audit authority and their operator, Robert and Long Valley Garden. They're not done. So you know the outside is going to match the inside. The county is committing $3.7 million for additional parking and build out for Nexus. That's a big deal. So how did we get here? Through strong partnerships, funding wherewithal creating over 15 years of strong financial stewardship, taxpayer money from the county executive and board of legislators. We got here because of the vision of the county executive, the audit authority, and Long Valley Garden president Ron Peck. We got here because of real leadership. We got here because the people of Oneida County embraced and believed in this project from day one. Now we want to watch it grow, along with the rest of downtown, and the rest of Marcy, and the rest of Griffith, and Rome, and the entire county and the region. I say the fitting phrase for Nexus is something we're already seeing come to fruition. Before the ribbons are even cut, and it's if you build it, they will come, and they have. And let's start with a video to put the picture up on the screen of Nexus.
In 2015, we hired a company to basically site 3 sheets of ice on Tartan Textile on Charles Street, and whether or not it would work conceptually. And then obviously it proved that it could work. We get enough locker room space, we get enough, F&B space, and really try to create like almost a Walt Disney World effect for the kids when it comes to tournament play or recreation play in youth sports.
It was a process. I think it was a couple of year process, so probably around 2017. I don't remember the exact day that we purchased Tartan, but once we purchased Tartan, there was no stopping.
And even when you looked at the vacant lots in the area that Nexus now sits on, it was hard to imagine that a facility this big would go there with 3 more sheets of ice, would fit in that footprint. And really at the end of 19, beginning of 2020, and then the world changes and things get held. And it was one of the casualties of COVID in terms of construction was Nexus, because without revenue coming in and without the wherewithal to finance it and keep the project going, it made it hard. So it had to be unfortunately stalled for a period of months. And that was hard. Construction kicked in and it never stopped, and here we are. And to watch it move as quickly as it did, kudos to and real credit goes to the construction team, the Brewer and his team.
That game was one of the most surreal things. We had 6 local kids that started the game for our youth and junior college SCDC program. And it was amazing. And obviously the result was fitting. It was a 1-0 win. But it was just, watching that team that was unwilling to lose that day was really what, all the years and all the effort that went into Nexus it kind of galvanized, my feeling on how great this place is going to be.
For the community, it can only help it. As far as the next step from here, how soon will it be before we outgrow this facility and want to build across the street or someplace else? It's great to have this here, 4 sheets in total between the auditorium and Nexus. But as the sport grows, as all the sports grow, I think we'll need a bigger facility.
I think I'm most excited that Oneida County, that this facility and all next to it, the entire concept of what we built and we did it, and that it's unlike anything else in upstate New York and even in downstate New York for that matter. It is so unique and will really change the face of our community and our region.
I think it's what I don't see is what excites me the most. I mean, we know that, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, they're going to populate each one of these because we can turn this into turf in a relatively quick manner, each one of the ice rinks. But it's whether it's the baseball or softball, whether it's gymnastics or cheerleading events, whether it's dog shows or robotics, some of the stuff I have no idea about is the stuff that really gets me excited because it is, kind of like a glorified convention space on top of something that's built for, sports. And I think that's going to be the exciting thing that the area is going to start to see. And they're really going to be, it's a profound building by itself. But once we start getting into that, I think it's really going to start to put our city on the map.
Further ado, I would like to make our first introduction. And I have to say, whenever I speak with Rob on the radio, he always says it's very important. You have to remember, Carl Anise and the auditorium play such a huge role. They deserve so much credit, and he stresses that, and I'm sure he'll stress that again tonight. Let's start with Carl Anise. Big round of applause.
Mr. Rob said in the video that he wanted to give everybody the Disney experience. I think we proved one thing, that dreams come true in other places besides Disney World. I think our dream came true right here. I'm pretty sure we'll see most of you in the building many, many times again, since most of you are wearing jerseys. We do have some people we would like to thank. The state of New York, the different agencies of the state, and our local representatives, Oneida County executive, and the legislators, Rob and his team at Mohawk Valley Gardens, and to Huber Brewer, our general contractor, who did a fantastic job for us. And thank all of you for the support for the building. And hopefully you'll have many happy days here. Thank you.
I don't know if you realize, but inside the auditorium, Rob has made sure there are many pictures of the past when the auditorium, the Adirondack Bank Center, was being built. And you see people shaking hands and having pictures taken way back early in the 1960s. Just understand you're a part of that photo for this center, which is really awesome. I'd also like to say that Rob could have done what he's doing here in Utica anywhere. He could have done it in Philadelphia, but he chose to come home and invest in this area. Please, a big round of applause, Rob Ennis.
Thank you guys. I'm going to just stick with doing the thank yous up here. One of them that I don't have on my list, which is dawned on me, occurred to me as a see all these amazing parents that got all their kids here and do talking, and I appreciate you guys so much for spending the evening with us real quick. I think it's important to know, it was probably the worst time in my life was 2004. We had an NHL lockout, and the idea of bringing an NHL team came to, a few of our heads is Tim Julian and Alicia Nix, and we tried going and meeting with the audit authority back then. It's definitely premature, but that was exactly what we wanted to do. And so this whole idea, when we got the Utica Comets here in 2013, actually started during the lockout. And in that course of time, Alicia and Tim and myself we'd be talking a lot about different things and what we need, and there's always this idea. I don't think it was conceptualized the way that Tony was able to put it together quite yet, but there's always the idea that moving east into tire and textile, we would create this epicenter for sports. And it really was, something that started a long time ago. And then fast forward to me retiring from the NHL, my dream was always to bring the Utica Devils back. I grew up on the Utica Devils, and the Clinton Comets meant so much to me. But as we came back, we ended up starting up the Utica Comets based off, my feelings as one of you guys, and right here, watching these AHL guys. That's how I felt in '87 and '93 with the Utica Devils. We named the team Utica Comets. And for those of you, most of probably the people up there in the back, you guys probably been here, as long, if not longer than I, and you know that Utica is not a good place. It's a very difficult place. I think it was a culmination of a lot of people, but I had a great leader and our mayor at the time. We were in the red. It wasn't very simple to see the vision in a lot of these areas. And our mayor did an extraordinary job over the course of our last 10 years of putting it into the black. And I appreciate it for that. While all that's going on, there's another great guy named Tony Martino. Tony Martino has spent countless hours up at night with me. And what we always had a vision for is to bring youth hockey into downtown and have the ability to literally galvanize Tier 1 hockey and make it as affordable as possible. As the Utica Comets sitting over here, and I'm sure Utica College men's and women's team can tell you, it's a very expensive endeavor. It's very expensive. It's upwards of $7,000, $10,000, $15,000 just to register on these teams. That's not even travel. That's not even hotels. And we've really tried to mitigate those expenses. And Tony was a big proponent of that. And he's a volunteer for, I don't know where he's sitting or where he's at, if he's even here, but maybe back there. I don't know. You've been at this for almost 20 years. Tony and Janice, I love you guys with all my heart. Thank you for putting this vision together for the youth hockey. I appreciate that. I don't want to glance over anybody because it's, this is very small talk and a big deal. And I think when you look at what this building is, Bill mentioned it earlier, but for 20 years, between the county, executive, county legislator, and the state, they've always believed in our vision. They've always been there when we wanted to say that we want to renovate the audit. So then the audit turns into Adirondack Bank Center, we're doing suites, we're doing all this stuff in Nexus. They've always been a terrific partner, and obviously, I'd be remiss if I didn't announce something to that level. Obviously, local officials, the ones that you see here today are obviously terrific, good friends of mine. I love them with all my heart. But there's a lot of some past ones too, and I think those people were also instrumental. Especially the one that comes to mind right now, Anthony Bernizzi, who I think the world of and have nothing but admiration for as a leader. And he was lockstep with us all the way through, along with Joe and Mary Ann, and obviously mayors, not just Rob, but also when you look out west, Rome is a big part of what we do here. And Jackie's been terrific, and Roanne, and I really appreciate those people. A lot of people, I'll tell you a quick little story. There's a few people in the crowd today that, so when we were holding our first tournament on Veterans Day, obviously this ice wasn't in on Monday. And so I called a couple of buddies because is our general manager of the facility, Rick Redmond, who's also a Purple Heart recipient. So thank you for your service, obviously, Rick. But we had to pull an all-nighter, and I called on my buddy Nexus and Danny Goza and Bob Dix, and they show up, and we just pulled all-nighters trying to get this ice ready for the Veterans Day tournament. And I obviously think, you know, when you look at volunteers, that's a big part of what we do around here, whether it's coaches, you know, whether it's Kevin Donnelly inside the building over there, whether it's the people that help lay the ice. Volunteers are a big part of sports. It's definitely a big part of what we do. And I appreciate all the volunteers, even the ones that I may not have mentioned. Thank you for your help along the way. Also, for a lot of you younger guys, and probably even you in the comments, you know, and definitely junior kids, you know, a lot of this couldn't have happened without Utica University. For well before I was still playing at the time, but Utica University was an amazing partner to keep the lights on this building, as the auditorium will tell you. And right now they have a close friend of mine, an amazing president, Laura Cosamento, an amazing leader in Gary Heenan, you know, who obviously started this up with Dave Clausen. But I really think that men's and women's program is something. We're sitting here today because of that. And I will never forget that as long as I live. I will go on and on and on and never forgetting that. And I appreciate you guys for all of that. I have one person in here that probably doesn't fit into the regular stuff here. It's Alicia Dix. Alicia's been a close friend of mine for 20 years now, her Bob. Every time I've had issues, it was always a phone call to Alicia. It continues to be that to this day. She's helped me out in so many ways. She runs a community foundation, very busy lady, but she always had the gift of putting the right people in the room to think level-headedly and really move forward in a way that's going to get something done. We have our challenges, and she plows through the solution. And I love her, respect her for that, so thanks, Lisa. Well, I got about 5 or 6 more here, but we're all sitting here today because of, obviously, Utica University. But the sport of hockey in our area was literally, it came from a great group of Canadian transplants, the Clinton Comets. When we named the team the Utica Comets, I reached out to each one of these individuals and asked if it was okay if we used the namesake Comets. A few of them cried, and they come to all your guys' games, every single one of your games they're at. They're terrific people, and I highly recommend that people, if you brush by Pierre, Frigo, State Armstrong, Jack Kane, or Morty Smith, please say hi, because they're the ones that started up Youth Hockey initially back in the 60s and 70s. They started up high school hockey. There were a lot of our coaches, a lot of these coaches for youth hockey, they are our coaches coming up, and they just, they presented themselves with a terrific acumen to understand. And it's easy to have a vision when you stand on the shoulders of giants. To me, the Clinton Comets, they're the giants in that world. The next group of folks, when I came back, I didn't have the money to start up the Utica Comets. And there's this very benevolent group of human beings we call the Investors Group in Mohawk Valley Garden. I won't name them because some of them don't like being named, some don't mind. But make no mistake about it, Mohawk Valley Garden would have never been a real thing if it wasn't for these great human beings that had a little bit of blind faith in me, but they also had the ability to understand a bigger vision. And our mission statement was changing the community through the sport that I love. And that is exactly what we've done, but it came up the backs and then financially. And the people that know them, and to me, they're always my best friends in the world, and I honor you every day because we wouldn't be here without you guys. So thank you guys. I'm not going to get into naming staff. Obviously, staff. You guys know how much I love you, how much you guys have worked. our staff when we were opening up Nexus Conventions Weekend, whether it was in corporate sponsorships, or whether you're a graphic designer, or whether you're in ticketing or whatever, they were mopping, sweeping, cleaning toilets, doing everything we could to have a presentable building coming out of construction. And they really dealt terrific with me. Obviously, the last several years, I've been a little stressed out over Nexus, and I appreciate you guys for that. Coming off the heels of that is obviously my family. Everybody that pulls these big projects off, they know that you almost become a ghost to them. You're not there enough. You're not seeing them enough. You have this drive and this tenacity to get something done, and it takes that to get it done. But in saying that, you never spend enough time with them, and to my staff and family, I love you guys, and thank you for everything. I'll mention it briefly, and one of the classiest groups of people that I've ever seen is Student Reviewer. They're a construction consortium that actually built this beautiful facility, and with Derek Keith and John Michael Doobie and Zemo and Tony Bevins, it was amazing to see them handle any challenge seamlessly. And they stuck by us when we had to put the work stoppage in, and they just, one of the best construction groups that I know the audit has ever worked with, and I gotta be honest, it was, thank you, Andy, and all your staff for that. And saying that, a lot of construction projects, it's not really that exciting, whether you're building housing or something, it's exciting from maybe a financial perspective, or it's exciting because you're cleaning up a dilapidated area. But this building's about families and sports. This thing is different, and we had a finish line, and in this finish line, we had contractors, 31 or 32 subcontractors to be a reviewer, and to watch these different outfits. They worked all sorts of hours and Saturdays to make sure that come Veterans Weekend when we were opening up this building. So, you reviewer the contractors, I really appreciate you guys. Thanks. And then I know that's so I'm sorry I'm talking so long. This building special to me, and I did want to make sure I didn't forget anybody. Sure did that. Certainly the last two people, especially Tony. Tony and I have been partners for 10 years. We've known each other much longer. As we came back, it was always an open door. He was always willing to make something a reality. And I think how he envisioned the U district and how he started to put me spewing things all over the place with my mouth running, what we should do.